Why do many Americans hate universal heath system? American USA patriotism largely revolves around personal liberty, responsibility, and freedom. The argument can be made that the very thought of being forced by the government to pay for someone else's medicine is un-American. Ironically, Americans tend to give the most to charity, which suggests to me that it isn't helping others that Americans dislike. It's Big Daddy government that Americans dislike. Older Americans hate anyone getting anything they themselves didn't have when they were that age. As an American too am puzzled by this. Then I remembered how misinformation works, and it all becomes clear to me. We don't. The crooked government pretends like we do because Big Pharma lines their pockets. I have yet to meet a person that wouldn't love free universal healthcare. If someone could only knock Big Pharma down a notch. I almost died and they're trying to charge me $30,000 because of that. And that's the cheaper of my hospital bills from that event. The worst part? It was kinda the hospital's fault. I got appendicitis and the first surgeon screwed up, causing me to have to go back in for more surgeries and a trip to a different hospital to fix their mistake. My insurance should cover all of the costs. But the hospital keeps submitting the claim incorrectly and then sending me the bill when it doesn't work. I don't have $30,000. So I would have to drop out of school if this doesn't work so I can pay off my debt. They've been told for decades that such a system is communism and worse, even though Americans have worse outcomes for pretty much everything. Lower life expectancy, higher infant mortality, higher maternal death, etc., etc., etc. Americans, raise your hands if you truly hate universal healthcare. I don't think you'd find a majority raising their hands on Reddit. Because there's a whole for-profit healthcare and healthcare insurance industrial complex in this country that is allowed to make an obscene amount of money off of Americans. They will do anything, say anything, destroy anything, and buy as many politicians as they need to in order to protect their industry and themselves. They've been brainwashing the American public since Ronald Reagan about the evils of socialized medicine. The lies were planted deep, have been carefully maintained, and have proved almost impossible to uproot. I suppose it's because many Americans are fanatically anti-communist, and the universal healthcare system is socialist, which is kinda similar to communism. I watched family members struggle to get help through the VA and have seen how well our government manages healthcare. I want universal healthcare, but the system needs a lot of changes before I trust our government to run it. Because our government already runs Medicare, Medicaid, and VA healthcare, and it's a disaster. There is no way I'm letting them take over the entire healthcare system. I'm perfectly fine with my reasonably priced, excellent private healthcare. The lazy deadbeats that want taxpayers to pay for their healthcare can move to Canada or Europe. Because they've been tricked by politicians who are bribed by insurance companies. All legally and in the open. Of course. Because America. The people who say, "I don't trust the government," as if for-profit insurance companies are trustworthy, or why they'd rather dig in their heels and oppose the entire idea rather than demand the government get its shit together. If they think the government doesn't care about them, I'm not sure why they'd trust a corporation whose profitability hangs in large part on denial of care, but also moralizing healthcare as a thing people should have to deserve rather than as a right. People come up with all sorts of excuses to justify why they think other people deserve to suffer and die in our individualistic society. This is just one way. We don't. Mostly. It is a matter of trust. And the government has none on this issue. For me at least. The VA provides healthcare for 4% of the population. And it is an absolutely mismanaged shit show of epic proportions. And nobody in Congress will fix it. For me, if they get that fixed, and working somewhat well, I'd be willing to entertain a more universal healthcare. There is also the fact that universal healthcare would limit pharmaceutical companies' profit. And they donate a lot to campaigns. 1. You will end up paying for it one way or another through taxes. 2. Capacity issue countries with universal health system have long delays in seeing physicians compared to the US. 3. Government-run healthcare programs in the US VA, Medicare, Medicaid are some of the most poorly run, lowest quality organizations in the country. We already have it. It's called the VA Veterans Affairs Health System. We've had it for years. It sucks. Long waits. Minimalistic care. Rude providers. Administrative mess. Mistreatment. I'm a VA patient when I have to be. My dad refused to be treated by the VA. I know plenty of vets who pay for insurance and use that rather than the VA health system. Why? It sucks. There are those who have to use the VA system. I feel bad for them. It's rough. But when it's all you have. And yes, my insurance nearly doubled when Obamacare passed. Thanks. American here. I'd love universal health system. But I work in healthcare here. And I see it fail everyone. Including myself. People don't realize how much we are already paying for uninsured and state-insured. I get patients with lower bills on taxpayer-funded insurance than my own PCP visits. At a hospital I work at. Stupidity or just plain ignorance. Because communism, lots of stupid people thinking America is the best. The leaders of my state, California, explore setting up its own national universal health system. It is the largest state by population at around 40 million people, roughly the same as Canada. The millions of poor and illegal aliens living there and their children who don't pay taxes would require so much in additional taxes that the program was abandoned. Also, people who are doing well don't want to have their high-quality healthcare diminished. Our government sucks ass. We already have the ACA, which has been a train wreck. I'd much rather pay for my own insurance than pay the taxes to have the government do it with my money. I am American and for universal healthcare, but the problem I see with it is that we aren't likely to implement it in a way that is good for all. I currently work under the poverty line so I can have state insurance. State pays for my healthcare. This is what I believe will be what it will be like for everyone. Long wait times. Only certain medications are approved. Dentistry is always packed. I have to wait months and months to even get a cleaning and can't even get a filling at the same time. Ridiculous. I didn't get major needed surgery under state insurance. That was good. But you gotta wait. And wait. And wait. The working class is kept in this state of mind on purpose. They are told that unions just want to steal their money, that universal healthcare wants to steal their money, that the government just wants to steal their money. It makes them isolated working units that don't trust anyone to have their best interest in mind. Because any time you do trust the system, it's gonna screw you. They would rather pay out directly to an insurance for a guarantee of care than pay a tax for an assumption that they will get care. Ironically, they are more likely to be screwed by the company they are paying for insurance. They hate government irrationally. They want universal health care. But they have been taught not to trust government. America has very effectively indoctrinated a large section of society. In this case, they've been convinced that government-run healthcare is communism and will deliver low quality. When I lived there, my boss at the time was a woman who grew up in the USSR. She sees the experience of her kids at school pledging allegiance, etc., as being exactly the same as what she went through as a kid.